Hey there psychological facts lovers, I hope you guys are doing well. Today we bring you the most exciting features, that is, the 9 signs you have unhealed trauma. The longer we live, the more inevitable it is that we will experience trauma. Trauma is the response to a deeply distressing or disturbing event that overwhelms an individual's ability to cope, causes feelings of helplessness, diminishes their sense of self and their ability to feel the full range of emotions and experiences. Sufferers may develop emotional disturbances such as extreme anxiety, anger, sadness, survivor guilt, or PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. They may experience ongoing problems with sleep or physical pain, encounter turbulence in their personal and professional relationships, and feel a diminished sense of self-worth due to the overwhelming amount of stress. Longer-term reactions include unpredictable emotions, flashbacks, strained relationships and even physical symptoms like headaches or nausea. While these feelings are normal, some people have difficulty moving on with their lives. Psychologists can help these individuals find constructive ways of managing their emotions. Traumatic experiences often involve a threat to life or safety, but any situation that leaves you feeling overwhelmed and isolated can result in trauma, even if it does not involve physical harm. It is not the objective circumstances that determine whether an event is traumatic, but your subjective emotional experience of the event. The more frightened and helpless you feel, the more likely you are to be traumatized. Trauma symptoms typically last from a few days to a few months, gradually fading as you process the unsettling event. But even when you are feeling better, you may be troubled from time to time by painful memories or emotions, especially in response to triggers such as an anniversary of the event or something that reminds you of the trauma. Okay, let's get started. Here are the 9 signs you have unhealed trauma. 1. You are hurting yourself. When you are hurting very deeply within yourself as a result of unhealed trauma, you will express that hurt in the external world in some form. Human beings operate on 4 levels of self: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. What happens on one level affects all other levels. Our mental and emotional pain manifests in the physical world. For example, this internal pain may show up as overacts of self-harm, including cutting and drug abuse. Or that pain may show up through more subtle behaviors, such as overwork. 2. You are hurting others, or lashing out with anger when you least expect it. As the saying goes, hurt people hurt people. If you see someone screaming with rage at a helpless child, it is a fair bet that person is struggling with unhealed emotional wounds of their own. When we do not know how to manage our own pain, we tend to take it out on others. That is one of the principles behind projection. We offload onto others that which we cannot bear within ourselves. 3. You are struggling with depression, anxiety, or another serious mental health concern. Depression is anger turned inward. Anxiety is what happens when we cut ourselves off from our feelings and our energy bounces back and forth between our internal walls. Both of these serious mental health conditions find their roots in unhealed trauma. 4. You avoid certain places, objects, or people you used to love, because they trigger terrible feelings. Ever found yourself driving the long way in order to avoid a certain street, or burying certain objects in the very darkest corners of your home? Most likely, you are doing so in order to avoid tripping the wire of unhealed mental and emotional pain. 5. You are struggling with substance abuse or behavioral addiction. Addiction and unhealed trauma go hand in hand. When you have emotional pain from trauma, you are likely also experiencing great amounts of anxiety and fear. You are looking for ways to feel better, or at least to numb out. Drinking or taking pills provides an escape, at least temporarily. But of course, the problem is that your coping mechanism becomes an issue in its own right. Soon you're addicted and you do not know why. In our experience, it is not about the drugs. Rather, it is the underlying core issues, the trauma, shame, depression, and anxiety, that are really driving your drug use. 6. You find yourself acting like a little kid. Right when you most want to act like an adult. Do you freak out over situations that your rational mind knows are no big deal? If so, you are probably dealing with unhealed trauma. If you are exploding into temper tantrums as a grown-up, it is time to look back in time. An emotional part of you is stuck at a younger age, and in order to grow up emotionally, you need to heal the hurt that you experienced. Deep down, we are furious about all the times in the past when others did not respect our needs, and moreover, when we ourselves did not respect our needs. That is our underlying source of pain. 7. You cannot bear to sit alone in silence. This is such a common problem in our culture. So many of us will do just about anything, including abusing drugs, or keeping ourselves frantically busy, to avoid how we are really feeling inside. Yet the paradoxical truth is that time in silence can actually help us to heal. Once we learn how to act as our own compassionate witness, we can let our pain arise and also let it go. Meditation aids in mind-body health, and it also helps men and women overcome addiction. 8. You have certain shameful stories you had never share with anyone. If you have a story you are not telling anywhere in your life, dollars to donuts, it's a shame story, and that is absolutely in charge of your life. So said Laura Perry, a woman in recovery from alcohol abuse and a sexual abuse survivor. The way we stop our shame stories from running our lives is not to bury them further, but rather to share them with a kind, present witness who can help us to offer ourselves compassion and forgiveness. That is how we rise above the toxic mix of shame and addiction. 9. Your inner dialogue is characterized by harsh criticism. If you are cruel to yourself inside your head, then chances are you have been through a traumatic experience that taught you to be very, very careful not to get hurt again. Strange as it sounds, your inner critic is actually trying to protect you from more pain. But the self-protective criticism is actually hurting you, so you need to work together with your inner critical aspect and assign it a healthier, more functional role in your life going forward. If you think you are someone you love suffering from psychological trauma, it is very much important to reach professional mental health care center. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more updates. If you think this will benefit other people as well, please do share and subscribe the channel.